You know what's fascinating? We've created a culture where emotional authenticity is considered a character flaw, where the natural human response to genuine problems is rebranded as negativity that needs immediate correction. Those people who leave comments under my videos, "You're so negative," even though I'm just using logic and call things what they are. If only they heard me in real life with all the amount of profanity I like to use. Barging into someone else's space to scold them for not being cheerful enough is never seen as negativity. But that's actually what it is. Toxic positivity isn't just annoying, it's a systematic erasure of reality. It's the insistence that every human experience must be filtered through a lens of relentless optimism, regardless of context or appropriateness. Everything happens for a reason. Really? Tell that to the person whose child was hit by a drunk driver. Tell them there's a cosmic lesson plan behind that tragedy. See how that lands. Just think positive thoughts. Right, because poverty is actually a mindset issue. Because systematic oppression dissolves when you adjust your attitude. Because cancer cells respond to affirmations. Here's what toxic positivity actually accomplishes. It creates a world where people can't express genuine distress without being immediately corrected by well meaning emotional police. Where saying, "I'm struggling," gets you a lecture about gratitude instead of actual support. The brilliant part is how it masquerades as wisdom. Good vibes only sounds enlightened until you realize it's just emotional fascism with a Pinterest aesthetic. It's not spiritual growth, it's enforced emotional labor. And by the way, if someone kicks you in a tram and your friend responds with a beautifully negative outburst that puts the asshole in his place, you won't call it negativity. That's exactly why we should abandon this whole black and white logic altogether. And let's talk about who benefits from this. When people are trained to smile through exploitation, to find silver linings in structural abuse, to transform legitimate anger into personal growth opportunities, who wins? Not the people being told to stay positive while their wages stagnate and their healthcare bankrupts them. A compliant, emotionally pacified population is a marketer's dream. People who've been conditioned to find a lesson in every setback don't question the source of that setback. They buy more self help books, more healing workshops, more courses on manifestation. The toxic positivity industry feeds on the very problem it claims to solve. Toxic positivity doesn't help you understand your experience, it edits it. Your grief becomes resistance, your rage gets rebranded as a blocked energy, your sadness is downgraded to a personal branding problem. It doesn't process emotions, it reformats them into more palatable versions. You're not a victim of circumstances, you're just choosing the wrong perspective. What sophisticated gaslighting. The most insidious part? It weaponizes hope itself, takes something beautiful, the human capacity for resilience, and turns it into a mandate. Suddenly, your inability to find joy in dysfunction becomes another personal failing to fix. And here's the psychological trap: emotions that aren't processed don't disappear. They don't evaporate because you've slapped a positive reframe on them. They go underground, manifesting as chronic anxiety, depression, physical symptoms. The just think positive crowd is basically prescribing emotional constipation and calling it wellness. Real emotional intelligence includes the full spectrum. Sometimes things genuinely suck. Sometimes anger is the appropriate response. Sometimes sadness needs to be felt, not fixed. Sometimes looking on the bright side is just looking away from the problem. And sometimes, stay with me here, the problem isn't your attitude. Sometimes the problem is the actual problem. Revolutionary concept, I know. The irony is that authentic positivity, the kind that emerges naturally from genuine contentment, can't be forced. It's not a practice or a choice. It's what happens when life actually gives you something worth celebrating. But forced positivity? That's just emotional cosplay. Performance art for people who mistake suppression for enlightenment. So here's a radical idea. What if we let people feel what they feel without immediately trying to fix it? What if we responded to pain with presence instead of platitudes? What if clarity meant staying present with reality, not staying positive about it? What if we stopped treating human emotions like software bugs that need debugging? Because the alternative, this mandatory optimism industrial complex, isn't creating happier people. It's creating people who are afraid to be unhappy. And that's not wellness. That's just another form of control.